So welcome everyone. Welcome to our very first Zoom PD session for parent facilitators. Um, my name is Sal Madrigal. I've had the pleasure of meeting many of you at our in-person meetings. And part of our feedback that we have received is we need support with websites. We need support with how we keep our information updated on our websites. And given a lot of emails, a lot of diligent work on your end, we figured, you know what, let's have the website guru for the district join us. And that's why we have Darren Mashburn here. So thank you to Darren for making some time to join us. He is going to provide you with some logistics. And again, I just want to make sure that we are very productive with this time. He is going to be available to us. We indicated 9 to 12. But you can imagine this session can be very detailed. So what I've asked him to do is to go ahead and obviously introduce himself and start with a portion of his session. We will pause for questions. Questions you could go ahead and add on the chat. I'll be moderating the chat questions once he's reached a certain pause. And then we're going to continue. And then this recording will be emailed to all of you with kind of little footmarks as to what topics were covered during this time frame. Okay, so don't feel like you have to be here the entire time. You'll get this information. If you have what you are here for, you're welcome to head out and you'll get the information down the road. Okay, so with that, Darren, thank you again for your time. Darren, you are a co-host, so feel free to share as needed. And again, I'll manage individuals entering and the chat as well.
Okay, sounds great. So let me share my screen here. And how's that looking? Everybody see that okay?
Yes.
Yep. Okay, perfect. All right. Okay, so first of all, I wanted to thank you guys all for being part of this. And I just want to encourage you guys not to get overwhelmed. And so my goal here is just to give you an overview, and I'm going to show you also how to access our resources. We did official trainings last year. Some of you may have been a part of that. What we did was recorded all those trainings, and I'm going to show you how to access those, as well as the stuff I'm going to give you today. So for starters, I just want to make sure that everybody's logins are working. The way I would start right here would have you guys log into lbschools.net/Finalsite. And that is going to be kind of our training hub of all videos and logins and all the things that you're going to need to get you guys kind of going. So if you guys go to that website, you will see this Finalsite training. In this yellow box, we have various videos that we've done in the past. And these have come up. What these are screen click-throughs of my trainings based on people's questions and the common questions and things that I see repeatedly coming in. How do I do this? How do I do that? And so I've put the hot topics on here, but I have tons more that I'm going to add on here. But if there are videos that you'd like me to create that you think would be beneficial to the whole team, at the bottom of this page, in this orange box, you could go ahead and request a video demo. I'm pretty good about doing them pretty quick, usually within a day or two. And I could get that video to you and also add it to our kind of repository here. In this dark blue box, this is our links to the login page. I would definitely click on this button to start and bookmark that link, because that's where you're going to go to log into Finalsite backend login page. The link right underneath that is a link that says icon library. And these are the icons that you would see on a typical page, and these icons that you see across right below the main hero image. And so you could add new ones on here. You could change out these icons, but they must come from our specified library. And so if we go and click on this library, I'm just going to give you a quick look. This is what we've been allotted. We cannot add new icons on here per Finalsite. So we have to kind of go with what they have. Every district uses this set of icons. So of course, everybody's going to want their personalized ones. I was able to get them to add a couple, like our peach jar icon. And I think that one won't even show up on the traditional list here, but they added a couple for us. We're to the point where we can't really add icons. And I'll show you how to add those icons. And then on the right side here, these were our official video trainings that we did. Most of you guys will be at the elementary and early school. And so what you'll want to do is probably just watch one of these. These were all the same topics covered, but they were on different days. We offered a couple different trainings. So you may want to just pick one of these and watch the video. And it's going to be more specific in what I'll be able to get to today because of time. And these two links right here that you see in cheat sheets, I would highly encourage you guys to look at these. Everybody kind of just overlooks these, but this one in particular, where it says editing the main page, elementary schools. Let me just kind of bring that up so you can see that. It's going to look like this, but it's going to show you the whole front page of your site and how to edit the certain parts of the site. Because I get a ton of questions like, I can't add this, I can't add that. And this will just kind of give you like kind of little hints and reminders of how to do it. That being said, I'm going to act like I have the same kind of access as you guys. And I'm going to be Cubberly's webmaster today. So when I initially log in, when you go to the login page, you should use your district's credentials, and you should be able to get right into the dashboard. So once we're in the dashboard, you're going to see your name here, welcome your name, and the navigation is going to be on the left-hand side here. And then the navigation is going to be expanded when you roll over each one of these icons. So when I roll over the feather icon, I'll see it says Composer. If I click on it, I'm going to get my sub navigation. And the four areas here are pages, banners, elements, and themes. Realistically, the only one you're ever going to be involved with is pages. And this is where we're going to visualize and see all our schools pages. The second icon here doesn't really have a name, but when you roll over it, this little square icon, you'll have things like page pops and post. Post is going to be a huge part of adding content to your front page, the main page. And then finally, at the bottom here, you'll have resources. When you actually click on this icon, you'll have two options. You'll have resources and galleries. And I'm going to explain the difference between those two and how they come into play with the website. So first things first, what I want to show you is that on the typical page, the front page is updated much differently than a drill down page. So let's say we'll go into Kids Club. The drill down page is going to be super simple to add content to. I think that might be the best place to start. We'll kind of get used to some of the assets that we add on here, and then I can explain how the main page differs than the drill down pages. And some of you may be wondering, why does this template look different than mine? We based the templates on grade level, and some of the schools that were K-8 had a choice between the two templates at the time when we launched these. And so we took that into consideration. But the whole overall setup and how things work is exactly the same, but it just may look a little bit different than your template. So don't worry about that. So let's go into the content management system. And now I'm going to go into pages. And if you're following along with me, you should have something very similar to this. When I hit pages, you're going to have your school's name here. Some of you may have two schools. I know that some of you are helping out with multiple sites. And if you're not seeing all this, please let me know because I had to get those all set up for you. And it's possible that I missed something. But when I click on Cubberley, I am going to get this list down here. And as you see on the left side, we have home, our school, programs, and staff. When we look at the website, and if I go to the main page, we're going to see on our main navigation here, the menu, we're going to see, well, we have the home page here, and then we have our school's program staff. The main menu is always going to be kind of hidden, not hidden, but kind of compact in this little three line icon, which is universal for menus. These guys here that go across the top are called nav header utility. Now, some sites have those on the front page, and some sites have them hidden inside the menu. So let me, I'm just gonna bring up another school. Let's just say Brisk, because I know they have built out their site quite a bit. So on Prisk, when we hit this menu item, we have our main menu items here, and this is the nav utility here. It's actually inside. So if we want to edit one of the pages on our site, we basically hit these little triangles, and it's going to expand all the pages that reside underneath the main navigation items. So let's just say we wanted to get in and edit the About page. We're going to click on the name, and it is going to eventually load up, and it's going to load up here. And as you see, all the contents on this page, if I want to go in and edit this, we're going to hit this little compose button on the bottom left, and it's going to turn my page into what's called a wireframe with this light blue box around. So anywhere there's a light blue box, that means there's content in there that can be edited. And if I wanted to add more content or edit this content, let's say, I would just click on the element itself. And now it brings up my rich text editor, kind of like a word processor. And I could come in here and add text. Obviously, I don't want to mess up their stuff that's live. If I wanted to edit the text and I wanted to make this bold, we could do that. We could just go here. And there's a lot of little tools in here. What you won't find is the ability to make crazy colors and stuff. It was a part of the templates that they designed for us was to have text be text. And if you want to add different sizes, you would do that through what is called the headings. And so typically what we would do, I'm gonna save this one. I'm just gonna add a new element here. If I click add element, you're gonna get a dialog box of all the different options of adding elements. The one you're gonna use 95% of the time is this one called content. So if I click on content, it's basically gonna drop another content box here where I can add text, images, and all the goodies. So if I click, as you see, it says click here to add. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you.
Mhm.
We have a question in the chat. It says, we cannot find the edit box to change. Can you show real quick where they would find that?
Oh, this compose box will be on the very bottom to the left. You will not have that compose button on the home page. So basically, I'm going to show you how to do one of the sub pages, but the main page is edited differently. So I was at the point of adding content to just a regular page within the site, not the home page. So if I click on add content, now I get add my text here. And if I wanted to make this a heading, something bigger to draw people's attention, I would click this little paragraph icon, and it will give me all these options of the headings I can add. In the styles, you'll see what they look like. So if I do a heading 4, it will just change the text there. I would only encourage doing that really for the headings of any content. And the content should all be the same size as you're seeing me type here. The concept there is things should be in a hierarchical order. And for good accessibility, which is what we aim for, making sure that people, when they navigate our site, who don't necessarily, if they're blind or if they're deaf, they have special browsers and they'll read things differently depending on how you mark them up. So if I wanted to add, let's say, just an image to my text, so I have some text, and like here, they added this image right here. All you would do is you would click this little image icon, and it's going to take me to my resources folder. Remember when I was giving you kind of a breakdown of the navigation over here, the resources was found in this little icon over here that looks like a folder. In the resources, we're going to put everything that we'll ever use on the website. We'll stuff them in our folders here in the resources. And then it's kind of like if some of you used School Loop in the past, it's like the locker. We want to make sure all our assets, so that's like PDFs, Word documents, you could even do links to videos. So anything that you'll visualize using throughout your site, you want to make sure they're in your resources. And as you see, it gives me a couple different options. There's the one specifically for my school, in this case, Coverly. And here I have 3 folders. Well, these were folders that I created in the past, and I'll show you how to create folders, but I highly recommend keeping things organized. So I would sometimes even suggest creating a folder called 2023-24, and then put all your assets for this year in that folder. Because as you can imagine, when I click on here, I'll show you what happens when it gets way involved. So all these files were brought in from School Loop when we first launched our sites. And you can see it's a little bit harder to find your asset, right, that you want to look at. If you organize things in an orderly fashion, like I created these ones for them for each of the sites. It says main page, hero, slideshow. So these are the images we would potentially use in that main slideshow on the site. So right now I'm trying to add an image. So I'm going to go find an image, and let's see. I'm going to click this one here. And it is going to drop. It looks like a huge image here. It's a huge image, right? I think it's probably the principal. If I want to resize this image, if I just click on the image itself and grab this corner, I can resize this right on the fly. So it's really nice, right? So that's how we would add an image to a page. And then you can come in here, add more text. There's ways to wrap the text. I'm not going to get into the weeds with that, but if you wanted to wrap the text around the image, don't know how to do that, you could call me and I could walk you through that. And then you always want to save what you're doing. And what you'll notice is that over on the left side here, you'll see orange lines right here. And you also see an orange icon right here. And that means that your page the status is in draft format. So meaning that what you see on the live site is not what you're going to see on your draft until you hit publish. Once you hit publish, it's going to push whatever you're working on up to the live page. The good thing about this is you could work on something over a week until you have it ready or whatever you need to do if you get interrupted. And then you could come back to it, to your draft page, and go ahead and publish, and it will replace what you have live. Let me just, before we go to the main page, I want to show you the other elements that you could add. In addition to adding content, you could use this image element uploader, but I find that this guy doesn't give you the flexibility of resizing the image. It basically pins your size of your photo to the size of the box that you are adding it to. So I would kind of shy away from using this item. But if we look at resources here, and let's just say you had a PDF and you wanted to display the PDF here. So if you had an event coming up and you wanted to display something on one of the drill down pages, to add a resource, we would go. So we clicked on the resource element and we click inside here. We're going to go and up here at the top, we're going to hit single. And then we're going to go find the thing that we want to display, our PDF, inside the resources locker. So we're going to click this guy. And now I'm back in the Cubberly resources folder. And let's say we wanted to display, I'm going to find a PDF here. This is a PDF. So I'm going to want to display this for Cubberly. If I click save, you're going to see that the PDF displays right on the page. Advantages and disadvantages of displaying PDFs is it's not accessible, which is not a good thing. But the advantage is you could visually see it on the site without having to click on a link to it. I'm okay with you guys using PDFs at this point, but if it could be typed out, it's better to be typed out for various reasons, not only accessibility reasons, but also if you look on our site, if it's typed out and we go down to this bottom left corner here where we have the languages and we say see everything in Khmer. If I click that Khmer button, anything that's text on the site gets converted into that language. So this is a super powerful tool that goes away if we're just displaying PDFs, because PDFs cannot be translated in the same manner. So I would encourage everything that could be put in text, let's make it text. Then if I go in Spanish, it just translate everything on the fly. And this is part of the product that we bought, so we want to utilize this. On that same note, over on the right side, we have Mr. Accessibility guy. And if you click on accessibility, it's the same deal. If you use a PDF, this does not work on PDFs, but it does work on the website itself. So let's say I wanted to change my text size. I could just keep clicking that guy and you'll see the different sizes of text. And then you could change the font, contrast, black and white, because some people can only see in black and white. They do better with this. Inverted colors. So this is kind of a fun tool to play with, very powerful. And this is one of the selling points of this using Finalsite, because this product is well known by the accessibility people in the Department of Justice. They highly encourage having this on our sites. And we were missing this with our last vendor. So that's one of the purposes we used Finalsite. The reason I'm showing those is text is better. You know, if you're in a hurry and you need to put a PDF up there real quick, I get it. You could just put the PDF up, but just realize that some of your audience doesn't have the same experience. So going back to our training. So now I have this PDF up here. If I actually click on the PDF on the site, it's going to bring up the PDF in another tab. And so that could be kind of powerful, but notice how it's all big. If I wanted to downsize this, we can further edit our pages or chop them up a little bit, block them up by clicking this add element. And then under layouts, we have a couple options of layouts. And what this does is just kind of splits our wireframe into these little portions. So let's say I wanted to do 3 columns. It's going to add a 3-column wireframe here. And now if I wanted to put this element into one of these columns and make it smaller, I could just grab this icon right here, click and hold, drag it into one of these, and you'll say move element here. And as you can see, that element's way smaller now. And then if I save it and publish it, I'm going to actually move this one too in there. So as you can see, you could kind of click and drag things around on your pages. And then if I were to publish it and I hit this little eye icon, we can see what the page looks like live. About us, right? And here's the two resources that I just added. And if I click on this this PDF, you can see it brings up the PDF in a different window. So I'm noticing a lot of schools using that feature, especially if they're doing like an advertisement or like a flyer that they want everyone to see. Some principals are using PDFs for their weekly message. Using that in that format is good. And then this, you'll notice this name across here is basically the name of the file. If I wanted to get rid of that, I could go into this little sprocket here. And then there's all these different options for your elements. If I click all and then display resource, if I click none, it was displaying the file name. If I click none and click OK and save, now that file name's gone. So I'm going to delete these. If I just hit this little delete button, it's going to delete the whole set of the layout. So yes. So now those elements are gone. I'm going to go ahead and publish. These are the basic ways that the drill down pages are set up. There's one more I wanted to show you is if I click element and you guys want to add a YouTube video in a really fast fashion, you're going to go click social navigation, and you're going to click this YouTube button right here. And it's going to bring up a YouTube element. You're going to click inside here. All you'll have to do is drop a YouTube link in here. So let me see if I can grab one real fast. So let's say we want this one. I'll just cut this URL, copy it. Now I'm going to close that out and I'm going to paste that URL, click save. You're going to have the video pop up here, but in this case, the person who set up that particular video said, do not embed my videos on other sites. So it won't show up here, but if we did one from our school district or one from one of your YouTube channels that you guys have at your sites, it will display here and it will play just like it's on our site. It's really referencing outside, but displaying on our page. There's one element I did want to show you. So if we click on add element and on the layouts, if we wanted to have tabs, and you guys may have seen this or may have not, but if you hit tabs, what this does is allow you to create tabs that go across here. And when you click on the individual tabs, they will have different information inside the tabs display. So if I clicked, let's say I had 3 tabs here, and then I wanted to change the name here. 1, 3. Okay. So if I click on tab 1 here and I add some content for tab 1, then I go to 3. We don't have to, any of the elements that you put up here, it's going to come up with like a generic title on the element. If you want to change that, you hit this little sprocket again, and you could change it here under title. You could turn it off for one and not have a title, or you can change the title here. I'm going to turn it off for now. So now we have 3 tabs. And if I go ahead and publish, and then we go and view this, at the bottom, you're going to see our tabs, tab 1, tab 3. See how the information changes? And that's really quick and dirty. Well, I think I've seen some of the other sites, like Prisk is a really good example. They've already built out their site quite well, but they utilize the tabs throughout their site too. So I don't want to get too deep into the weeds with the tabs, but that is a really powerful tool to put a lot of content in a condensed way. Okay, so now I wanted to cover the main page and how that's laid out. First, I wanted to show you, close this. This document here, I would suggest you printing this out or keeping it handy. And this is the basic layout of your site. So if you notice here at the top, we have our logo and our name. And then this little area right here is what's called the Hero Gallery. And that can be updated by simply adding images into a gallery, not the resources. The images will first need to be put in resources, but then it's going to be a specific gallery that's associated with this area. Okay. And if we go down here, these are our icon bar. And these are basically just glorified links to pages on our site. And so the purpose of this is that parents are always looking for just visually, if it's visually pretty, people are going to gravitate towards it. So instead of just having 10 links here, the icons kind of give them a prompt of how to find things quickly. This area here of news and events, these are going to be updated through what's called post. And the posts are pretty simple to use, and I will demonstrate one for you. But basically this area post and this area down here post, these are all coming from the same, what they call board. And all the posts are kind of housed in the same area, but they're specified to show up here based on a specific tag. And down here is based on a different tag. And so we'll have one common area, but they'll display differently in different spots based on how we tag them. And in this example, this is Webster. This is the tag that we would use, Webster News. If we created a post, it would display here automatically. If we created a post and we wanted to be down here in the more evergreen area, we are going to use the tag, the school's name, and the word feature. And I will give you a quick demo on how that works. The calendar events here should be integrated with a Google Calendar that is dedicated solely for your school's events. I've had to take down several calendars recently that had some personal information in there, like IEPs and stuff like that. So we got to make sure that the calendar that we integrate here is specified only for the school's events. And if you wanted to have, let's say your PTA had a Google Calendar that they also wanted to integrate, we can integrate two calendars on here. And what would happen is they would just kind of merge together, and the coming 3 events will show here. And if they want to see more, they could click the View All button, and the full size calendar will display everything. So this is these are supposed to be like quick hitters, most current events coming up. And then if you want the full deal, you'll click this little button here. So as you can see, this is visually what the site looks like. Now, this is different because on this page, on the main page, we're not going to have that compose button where we could just drop stuff on. These things are all going to be updated through separate elements. Post for these two, and a gallery for this guy, and then the icons for here. And if you guys have questions, you can interject if I'm going too fast, I'll slow down.
Darren, you're doing well. We do have some questions in the chat.
Okay.
I don't know if this is a good time for us to cover that. You at a
Sure.
pause now?
Sure, we can look at a couple of questions and see.
Okay, so I'm gonna work my way from current to back, since these are relevant
Okay.
based on where you're at.
Okay.
We have can news and events be used on the pages besides the home page?
What we can do, I know for sure, let's just say you have a page for clubs and you wanted to have just a news section for clubs. We can create that environment, and it would be just, we would use the same posting mechanism, but we would just use a different tag. And basically we could specify which ones to display under clubs. That would be a little bit more involved, but it can be done.
Okay.
Same thing with calendars. So I have some sites that they have a PTA and they have a PTA calendar, on their PTA page, and it just displays PTA events on that calendar. But on the main page, I've integrated the school's events plus the PTA's events on the main page. So yeah, they can be separated out. And
Okay.
even if you had like sports, if you wanted a sports calendar and a sports news section, yeah,
All right. Sounds good. What
yep.
about when you were going over the social media options? Can Instagram be one of the ones used?
Oh, so down here, oh, oh, they don't have it here. Let me see. Yes. So this is Prisk. And basically what these are icons that go to the actual websites of Instagram and Twitter or X, sorry, and Facebook. So these basically just kind of shuttle you off to their platform. We we do have the ability to offer, I think, one social media platform for each school. What they did is they gave us the ability to add 85 different social media platforms that would actually display on the page itself, meaning that when you add an Instagram post, it will display on the site as an Instagram post. The only problem is we're not able to embed those on the front page. So I don't know how powerful that would be, but it would have to be on a drill down page. But we could actually create an icon here that said, I don't know, just say social media or whatever, Instagram. And you click on it, it could take you to a drill down page with your Instagram post on it. But we're only able to offer one per school because our package that we bought only allowed us to average of one per school. And so not all the schools are going to use them. So it's possible to have more than one, but I only want to offer one at this time. So
Okay.
if that's what you're looking for, we could certainly do that. I would have to coordinate with whoever asked that question because I would need to get a username and password to make the connection, the initial connection. And then once it's connected, that's all I would need. And then the page would update automatically anytime a post would come in.
And
Does that
Darren,
make
that was
sense?
me. Oh, that was me, Sylvia, that asked about
Okay.
that question. It was
Uh-huh.
more so pertaining to when we were editing a box and
Uh-huh.
you showed us the feature of being able to add one of the social media tabs. I noticed Instagram's was not on one of those options. So that's why I was wondering.
Oh, is that right? Okay, let me
Yeah,
look real
it's like there
fast.
was everything else, Twitter, Facebook, but Instagram was not an
Oh,
option. So I was
okay.
wondering if that's something that we have to request to be added or.
Yeah, that's weird. Let me looking at I haven't heard of that yet, but so I have it here, right? Let's just see.
Yeah.
Oh, of course it's restricted, but let's see. So those would be under here, social media links. And then if I go here and I add a new one. Oh, external. See. Hmm. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one. It should automatically hold on. Sorry. Try this one.
I hate to interrupt just because
Mhm.
Shadi and I have to leave in 10 minutes to
Yep.
teach classrooms.
Okay.
But we don't know how to add the pictures and
Okay.
media to the resource folder so that we can upload it.
Okay. So I will get back to you on the Instagram question, but
Okay,
I
thank you.
I think it should work. Let me jump to this other question, help out real fast, and then I will get back to you on the Instagram for sure. Okay. So you wanted to add pictures to the main gallery, is that right?
No, into the resource folder so that
Okay, so the resources is this folder here, right? You should have two options here, resources, and you click on your school's name. And then, like I said, I would create a new folder, 2023 to 24. And now I have a new folder. And basically, you should be able to just drag a file in there and you hit save. and the file should display in there. If you want, you could also find it by clicking on this green button at the top and then going to browse, and you could find it through browsing to wherever your images or your documents are on your computer, or I think you could even use Google Drive. There's a connection there. Were you not able to do that?
Sorry, I mean, we were able to add the folder.
Uh-huh.
But adding the, I'm sorry, if I want to add something to the folder, say
Mhm.
that one
Oh,
more time.
so you could click on it. You could click on it, drag it in there.
Or just drag it in there, but
Mhm.
there's not like an upload button or anything.
There is. So if you click this green button,
Public resource,
hold on.
It's
It's gonna pop up this dialog box,
You have it? Okay.
Okay, got it.
and then you hit the browse button.
Okay, got it. Perfect. And I
Wow.
So
can upload it to my
so the key thing here, and this is a great time to show you how this works, is so on this front page, when I go to list Cubberly, they have this main image up here. Yours is a little bit smaller at your sites. I understand that, but it's that little square up in the right corner. These images can be updated, not through the resources. You want to make sure that your files are in there so we can access them. But what you're going to do, so in this example, I have a folder called Hero Slider. These are the images that I want to just eventually be able to choose from for my gallery. I'm going to click on these. If I click on the images I want to bring into that gallery, you'll notice over on the right, it will say add to existing gallery. If I click this button here, and it's going to give me an option. These are all the galleries that we have set up on Cubberly. The main page hero gallery, if I wanted those to display there, I would click that, and then instantaneously those images will start rotating through that gallery at the top. So if I want to look at that gallery, I go here, galleries, Cubberly, and then main page, hero gallery. You'll see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, we got 7 images that are rotating through at the top right here. Sorry, right there. If I wanted to change the order of these, I just grab one, drag it up, and say, I want this one to be the first one that rotates through, this one to be the next one, and so forth. When I hit update here, you will see that change on your site. Sometimes it's not instantaneously. Sometimes it takes a couple of minutes to kind of refresh. You may even need to like refresh your browser to see the change, but it will change as long as you hit that update button. So the concept here is galleries is the way to display on those rotating galleries, the rotating galleries that you see at the top of the page. And here on this particular template, they have 2 galleries. They have an extra one here because sometimes they wanted extra content. I know the elementary levels, they were just worried about it, even having enough images to put in one gallery. So we kind of pared it down a little bit. So let me show you guys how to do post. The post, as I said before, comes into play here in the latest news. And then these guys that are more evergreen. And so the concept here is we like to use these for things that are going to be up the whole year type thing, and then use this area for the latest events. So if we go under the square here and we hit post, you'll get this subnav called board. So if we click on that guy, and then we go into Cubberly, you're going to see all the posts that they have for their front page. And in these blue little boxes, you see these are what are the tags. So Cubberly News, those 2 things were added to their news area here. What you may see sometimes is the district, at the district level, will pop some of our news stories that pertain to either elementary school or specifically to your school. When we write articles, we'll sometimes pop them into this area too. And so you may find like, hey, wait, where did my news story go? Sometimes the district site will supersede just because we put ours in after you put yours in. And basically they're listed from latest post to the oldest post. So there are some tricks I could show you if you want to make sure that your content's up here rather than the district's on the post. So like in this, see the news. If I go into this post, under this start time, and if you put a feature time, or sorry, featured until date, that will make your post supersede the districts typically. So the nice thing about posts is if you wanted one of the posts to fall off eventually, you could also put an expiration date. So in this example, this is one that we did last year, and it's still inside their little news section, but you have to click this to see it, or you can scroll through. So vision, if you look, if we keep going, it's going to make a liar out of me. I don't see it right there. So if I click all news, for some reason it's not displaying here. So I would have to do some troubleshooting to figure out why, but usually it's because of the tag is different, but they have the Cumberland News tag here. So I'm not exactly sure why it's not showing. It should show up because it says Cumberland News. So if I wanted this particular post to display at the bottom, instead of using this tag, I would use Cumberland. What will happen is when you start typing it in, you'll get a drop down of your options. If I wanted to go into Cumberland feature instead, and I take it out of Cumberland News and I hit update. In the real world, if everything was connected correctly, it would display down here, and it looks like it did right here. You can see the Cumberland new Cumberland website. I don't want it to display there, so I'm going to change it back to Cumberland News, and I'm going to update. So that's how you would update those two areas. The next thing I wanted to show you is these icons right here. If you wanted to add a new one, you would go under this icon links branch. That's what they call these little upside down T's, sideways T's. And you'll see a list of all our icons right here. Some of them are grayed out, meaning that you're not able to edit them. Those are controlled by the district level. And for good reason, we don't want people to get rid of our COVID-19 updates and the flyers and that kind of stuff. I will be taking probably that COVID-19 updates icon down soon, hopefully, if we could get through the next couple of months without having to communicate any more COVID information. But the flyers should take you, the end user, to all your electronic documents or electronic advertisements that pertain just to your school. And then any of these that you want to change, you can. And so let's just say I wanted to add a icon. I would click these three dots and say add page. And we're just going to call this test. And then you're going to want to, as I mentioned before, these basically just glorified links to parts of your site or outside sources. So let's just say, the one that comes up a lot is we have an attendance form on Google. So we could just do report attendance. And then if I create a link, you would, instead of going internal redirect, you'll want to do this little one that says external redirect. And basically, this is going to take you to an outside page. And so for now, I'm just going to say Google www.com. And I'm going to have it open in a new window. If I hit save, If you look down here, I have report attendance. If I wanted to move that, I could just hold down my mouse and drag it to where I want it. Say I want it to be the first thing. It'll be up there. But remember, they have icons associated with them. And so when we first started, I was saying on our little training page here, this is our icon library, right? So I'm going to go figure out what icon I want to use. And if I'm going too fast, this is one of the videos that's on that training resources page on how to do this. So I'm just going to cover it real quick. I'm going to just find an icon. I'm just going to do pencil. So I'm just going to cut this this title out, pencil. I'm going to go back. I'm going to go back to my report attendance page. It's loading. Give it a second. And now I'm going to click this little icon down here. And then under this area, it says custom nav class. I'm going to paste that word pencil. And what it should do when I publish, now I have report absence. If I come up here, what I expect to see is a new icon right here that says, if I refresh the browser, it would have a little pencil icon. It would say reported absence. When you click on it, it will go to the Google page that I typed in that box. So that's how those were updated. There's a detailed video on that resources page. And so we basically covered how to add images here, how to add those, how to add news, how to add calendar events through Google Calendar, and then how to add these guys here. The only other item is this little area here has to be managed at the district level. So if you have content on your site, and let's look at Prisk, what they did. They had this little area with text, but they decided, hey, we wanted this graphic there instead. If you guys have either new text that you want to put here or a graphic, just email that to me and I can make it happen. That area is just not open for you guys to edit, unfortunately.
There was a question around how do you integrate different calendars?
Well, you had mentioned like you could integrate like PTA and the school calendar and all of that, all the
Yep.
Google different Google calendars. Can you go
Yeah.
through that?
Yeah, so as long as they're all Google calendars, what I would need, I have to add each calendar in through what's called a calendar manager at the district level. And basically what it does is makes the connection for you guys. And then once those connections are established, we can add those by, let me show you. Now the front page one would probably have to be done by me, but the other page, you guys should be able to do. So you know what, I'm gonna delete this because I don't want that to be on there. Okay, so if I go to our school, and I know there's a calendar on this page, Coverly Calendar. This is how I go in and edit them, and you guys could do the same thing. So if you go into this little sprocket, and you go under the general settings for your calendar, these are all a list of all the calendars you could add to your site. And so as you see, like Fremont, they have Fremont and they have Fremont PTA. I would basically click both those and hit save, and the integration is automatic. The hard part is, okay, so we want the PTA to have their own calendar. It needs to be their own calendar. And then I would need to make that connection. So basically what I would ask for is that they give me admin rights to the calendar just for a few minutes so I can establish that connection. Once I've established it, I don't need access to the calendar at all, but I do need it to get the special code that Google provides on the back end. So long story short is we can merge 20 calendars if you wanted to, as long as they're all individual Google calendars that are open to the public.
So how would we go about them contacting you? Would we just tell like our PTA person to just send you an email or?
Yep. Just
Okay.
say, yeah, we want to add our Google Calendar to Finalsite so we could use it on our sites or our pages. Yep. And then I'll do the rest. And then once it's established, I could either have you guys do it or I could do it real quick, but I'd rather you guys know how to do it, but I don't mind helping either. But I do need to I have to make the initial connection. And there's no limit on calendars. So if every site had a Google, a PTA calendar, I'd be happy. And that way, the Google, if you trust the PTA person, then when they add an event, it will show up wherever you specify it to show up. It could be on their PTA page, and all the other calendars throughout the site are.
Thank you, Darren. There was another question. Can we add digital flyers via Peach Jar for upcoming events at our school site?
Yeah. I would suggest reaching out to my counterpart who sits next to me. Her name's Mary Gomez. It's Marry Gomez, and she is our Peach Jar guru. But every school has the ability to add electronic flyers, and everybody has an account. Some organizations, we do charge them to push out their content, just like we would if they were to, print the flyers or whatever and put them in backpacks. So this is supposed to be like the electronic backpack area, but many times they could do it for free. So, and if it's someone at the school site actually putting the flyer together, yeah, I would contact Mary, and she can kind of point you in the right direction. And I know I covered a lot. I am here as a resource to help you, prioritizing, helping you guys. What I'm going to be doing probably this time next month is kind of going through all the sites with a checklist, making sure that you guys have everything covered on there that we would like to have on there. And I think in the email I sent you, I gave suggestions on the kind of things that we should definitely have on the sites. If you did not get that, let me know. It's just information that parents have told us that they would like to have on the site. So we're basically taking suggestions from different levels of parents and stuff, and trying to make sure that it's all available to them. And the other thing to remember is these sites, I think they've been kind of neglected in the past, especially last year. But I think these are powerful tools for the parents, and you're going to decrease the calls that you get from parents if we have a lot of content on these pages that they could get on their own. Because I'd rather find it myself personally than to call someone and try to ask how to get something done. So the more we could put on these sites, the better. And I'm happy to help out with, even if you guys have crazy ideas, I'd love to hear them. And maybe it benefits all of us as a district, adding new content. And I have a good rapport with Finalsite. So if things are broken or we want to do add-ons, they definitely listen to me. So be happy to help out.
For that, Darren. Thank you. And obviously, we really appreciate your expertise and your support in helping our parent facilitators just amplify the message, whether it's coming from the site or the district level. We are in a very good spot that we have, a lot of talented, eager individuals that want to communicate with families.
Okay.
And like you mentioned, there's nothing more frustrating for a parent than, going to a site and there being inaccurate or outdated information.
Right.
So we definitely want to make sure that all of you here go into your sites and make sure that everything there is updated. If I'll just give you an example. If you have a new principal this year, and you still have the picture or the welcoming message from your prior principal, that's just not a very good look for us, public facing. So, and as you're meeting and you are collaborating with the community, if parents have suggestions of things that they would like to see, please capture that as well. Share with us, share with Darren, so that we can respond to that feedback that we're getting from our parent partners. So again, we really appreciate this partnership and your good work with engaging parents.
Okay.
I do want to pause here for a second. I want to call out that we have Mariana Benton. She's here in support of our federal and state compliance office. And George Tsai wishes he could have been here, but he had another commitment. But she, again, Mariana is an amazing support to George and that level office. And we also have Carmen Hernandez, who's here from our partners for parent engagement. And you know, as you know, we allocated the 10 to 11 o'clock block for any questions, anything that we can do to support you with compliance, parent support that you need. And we're here for you. So if you have any questions related to that, this would be the time. Darren will stick around as well. But in terms of the actual website component, I'm going to let you know, any questions that you still have, let him know so that I could stop the recording, and that'll be the end of that portion of that we're going to share with everyone. So any other questions regarding website? He's not going anywhere. He'll still be here, but I just want to make sure that we capture this for the recording.
Yes. My question was, and I was trying to fiddle with it right now, and I was struggling, was editing the staff lists on the page. I'm on there. I press the compose, everything highlighted. I'm trying to delete some staff members that are no longer at our site, and I just couldn't figure it out.
Okay, let me see. Did we lose Darren?
Yeah, it doesn't look like he's here anymore.
Yeah.
Morning, everyone.
I'll message him real quick. But I'll tell you what. I will make sure that I make him aware of your
perfect.
specific request, and I'm sure he has some steps he could share with you on how to proceed with that. Okay.
And what's the best way to reach him? Like, can you share his number or email?
Yes. Give me a second here. So for Darren, his email is dmashburn. I'll put it in the chat for everyone, but it's again, it's dmashburn@lbschools.net. He does prefer email.
Okay, perfect.
That way he can quickly share a how-to document or a how-to video.
Yes.
That for me is one of the, I mean, he spoke about a lot of great things, but to me, one of the things that I really want you to consider is his quick ability to create a how-to video for you. That thing you can determine if you want to recreate that message or that video to your parent community, or you just use that as the one for everyone to share. Okay. Okay, well, since I no longer have Darren here and the purpose of this recording was for website support, I'm going to go ahead and stop it here. I thank you all for joining us. If you have any other questions regarding website maintenance, website questions, please email Darren Mashburn at dmashburn@lbschools.net. Thank you for your time. I'm going to stop.